Tonight, when you lose someone, you probably won't light a fire for them. You probably won't sit beside dozens of people through the night while stories are repeated over and over again until sunrise. You probably won't touch the body, carry it with your own hands, or walk for miles beside the people who are grieving with you. Instead, you may stare at a glowing screen in silence. You may replay old voice messages alone in your room while the rest of the world continues moving as if nothing happened. And it feels normal now. But for almost all of human history, grief was never silent, private, or hidden away behind walls. For tens of thousands of years, mourning was something entire groups experienced together. And the strangest part is that your brain may still expect that older world, even if modern life no longer gives it to you. Scientists discovered something unexpected while studying ancient burials. The deeper archaeologists looked into prehistoric graves, the clearer one disturbing truth became. Humans may have started becoming emotionally modern long before civilization, agriculture, or written language existed. Long before cities, governments, or technology, ancient humans were already stopping everything for the dead. They were digging graves, returning to burial places, covering bodies carefully, leaving objects behind, preserving memory through ritual. And modern neuroscience suggests something deeply unsettling about this discovery. Your body may still react to grief as if you were supposed to be surrounded by a tribe while carrying it. This video reveals three things. First, the archaeological evidence showing that Neanderthals and early humans may have practiced forms of mourning tens of thousands of years ago. Second, the counterintuitive discovery that grief itself may have helped shape human cooperation and emotional intelligence. And third, what all of this means for your nervous system today, because modern science now shows that loneliness and grief activate some of the same biological stress pathways associated with physical danger. One of the most haunting discoveries comes from Shanidar Cave in Iraqi Kurdistan. Archaeologists first excavated the site decades ago, but in 2020, new Neanderthal remains were uncovered in the same area associated with the famous flower burial. Researchers, including Emma Pomeroy from the University of Cambridge, analyzed remains estimated to be between 55,000 and 45,000 years old. The body had been deliberately positioned inside a natural depression within the cave. This matters because it suggests intention. Ancient humans, or Neanderthals, were not simply abandoning bodies where they died. They were returning to specific places connected to death. They were creating memory landscapes. And in a world filled with predators, disease, starvation, and constant danger, stopping long enough to bury the dead carried risk. Every moment spent mourning was a moment not spent hunting, escaping, or surviving, which means grief was already powerful enough to interrupt survival itself. And then scientists found something nobody expected. Evidence from multiple Paleolithic burial sites suggests that some ancient groups repeatedly revisited graves over long periods of time. That changes everything about how we imagine prehistoric humans. Because repeated visitation means memory survived after the immediate moment of death. The dead were still socially present. Anthropologist Paul Pettit argues that burial may represent one of the earliest forms of symbolic emotional behavior in human evolution. In simple terms, grief may have helped teach humans that relationships continue psychologically even after death. The dead body disappears, but the bond does not. The shareable truth is this. Ancient humans may have become emotionally human the moment they refused to treat death as disposal. The grave itself became proof that someone mattered enough to be remembered. And that single idea may have changed human psychology forever. But here's what almost nobody talks about. Ancient grief was physical, entirely physical. You could hear it, smell it, feel it in the air. Mourning happened near firelight, beside bodies, surrounded by breathing people. Crying was not hidden. Touch was not avoided. Silence was communal instead of isolated. For ancient humans, grief was processed through presence. Today, many people process grief through absence. You were not designed to grieve completely alone the way modern people often do. Modern bereavement research shows that grief affects sleep cycles, cortisol levels, immune function, heart rate, inflammation, and the nervous system itself. Studies published through the National Institutes of Health describe bereavement as a whole-body condition, not just an emotional state. Your biology reacts to social loss almost like a survival threat. And when researchers studied the health effects of social isolation, they found something astonishing. Lacking strong social relationships can increase mortality risk at levels comparable to major physical health risks. Your nervous system evolved in groups. Ancient humans survived because emotional pain was shared collectively. Among hunter-gatherer societies studied in recent centuries, social life tends to remain highly visible and communal. Researchers observing groups, such as the Hadza of Tanzania, describe environments where people spend most of their lives physically near others, eating together, sleeping near one another, walking together, sharing responsibilities constantly. Again, these groups are not frozen Paleolithic humans, but they reveal something modern industrial life erased. Humans evolved inside continuous social presence. Solitude existed. Permanent emotional isolation did not. And maybe this explains why modern grief can feel so strangely unreal. Ancient humans had rituals that forced reality to become physical. They carried bodies, dug graves, sat through nights together, repeated stories aloud. Modern society often removes those experiences entirely. Hospitals take the body away. Notifications replace visitors. Mourning leave lasts a few days before productivity resumes. The grieving person is expected to function quickly again inside a world that barely pauses. The problem began slowly. Industrialization separated families geographically. Urban apartments separated neighbors emotionally. Modern work schedules disconnected people from communal rhythms. Electricity extended waking hours while weakening collective nighttime rituals. Technology created constant communication while reducing physical presence. Even language preserves traces of the older world. The word wake originally referred to staying awake beside the dead through the night. Imagine that for a moment. Entire groups remaining awake together in candlelight so nobody faced death alone. Today, grief often unfolds under artificial light beside silent walls and glowing screens. Your ancestors mourned beside fire and human voices. You mourn beside notifications. And maybe that is the invisible tragedy hidden inside modern life. We became more connected digitally while becoming biologically lonelier. We gained privacy but lost witnesses. We gained efficiency but lost ritual. We gained independence but lost the tribe that once absorbed emotional pain collectively. What if this isn't a defect in you? What if the exhaustion, numbness, emotional fog, and strange loneliness of grief are not weakness at all? What if this is a human nervous system trying to process loss using ancient biological machinery built for a world that no longer exists? Ancient humans buried the dead with earth, firelight, hands, tears, and presence. We replaced all of that with schedules, screens, distance, and silence. And most people never even realized what disappeared with it. If your ancestors could see the way modern humans grieve now, would they think we became stronger or simply more alone?